and excellence. As we embark on this journey together, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to each one of you for joining us from various corners of the globe, united by a common goal. And to our viewers across social media platforms like Zoom, YouTube, and Facebook, your presence amplifies our spirit, reminding us that we are not alone in this pursuit of excellence. Once again, welcome everyone to today's webinar. It is going to be about navigating the career paths, the next step after grade 10. Today's discussion focuses on clearing your queries about what stream to choose after grade 10th. And hopefully that we clear your ambiguity at the end of this webinar. Joining us is our chairman, Mr. Rama Naidu, the CEO, Mr. Subramaniam, and the principal, Ms. Divya Sharma, to shed some light on this topic. And I'm your host, Vedashri, a proud alumna of Rockwitz. Welcome, everyone. I'm sure that most of the parents had this question, but I would want to ask students, have you ever wondered what lies ahead after grade 10? If you haven't, today's webinar is going to be all about that. Next slide, please. Before we start, I would like to discuss the objectives of today's session. They are: describe 5 simple techniques to choose a stream, learn about the factors to consider while choosing a stream, understand the different streams and career options available after grade 10, consequences of entering a field without a careful consideration, importance of holistic well-being for success in career navigation. And to talk about this topic further, Divya ma'am will be taking over. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Veda, for such an amazing introduction. Without further ado, let's talk about the 5 best techniques to choose a stream. So let's see one by one. The first comes research, the second sample participation, then comes the interview, and the next is my favorite, and I'm sure within a short while it's going to be everybody's favorite too. It is Ikigai, which is a Japanese concept, and the next comes the peer feedback. Now let us throw some light on each and everything. So first let's talk about research. By research, I suggest you to browse social media platforms. For example, like we have YouTube, we have Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and many more. Then I would also like you to focus on blogs and articles. My next suggestion, if you are a voracious reader or if you are passionate about reading, then I strongly suggest you to read the biographies. Most of the professionals who are successful in their career have mentioned many biographies. They have written their autobiographies as well as memoirs. For example, you can go through a day in the life of a lawyer, challenges faced by the cardiologist, or the career in scuba diving, or the career in accountancy. So these books will give you clear insight and help you to understand whether you have to choose a particular stream or not. Now, the next technique is sample participation. Sample participation is as simple as taking a sip of soup from the buffet and deciding whether I really need it or not. By sample participation, we mean internships, shadowing a professional, volunteer at events, help in a small business, manage or create events. Now, sample participation actually means working in close collaboration with a particular profession. So you are working in a real life professional setting. You are trying to understand the nuances involved. You are trying to understand the challenges involved. Then you are going to learn about troubleshooting and then decide whether this particular career suits me or not. Again, I remind our topic for today is selection of streams, not the profession. But if you are clear with what actually is going to be your profession, and that will simplify your job of choosing a stream further. Now let's move on to the next technique, interview. Now here in the interview, which is very well known to all of you, I'm going to involve the parents, the friends, peers, and your relatives and so on. So with interview, I mean you have to build a long conversation and try to understand more about the stream that you are going to choose. And interacting with professionals also helps you to understand the stream and the details perfectly. And this introspective approach is more talking to yourself and understanding your own interests and strength. So with introspective approach, let's connect this to the next technique, which is known as Ikigai. Now, Ikigai, as I mentioned, it's a Japanese concept. The word Ikigai means the reason for living, the reason for being happy. So now here, Ikigai is placing the person at the center, and at the intersection of Ikigai, that means if I am a person at the center, so my center is the center of happiness. And at the intersection, what factors I have to consider? I have to consider what you are good at and what you love, what you are passionate about, and then you have to understand what the world needs. You might be passionate about something, but that is not needed by the world in the present scenario. Then you cannot choose the same. And then, last, but of course, it is very, very important whether you are aptly paid for it or not. So, all these things, if you can be at the center and try to answer, then hopefully it will help you to decide your stream. And next comes the last technique, which is known as peer feedback. By peer feedback, we mean mutual discussion and discussion about pros and cons. Now, what is this mutual discussion? You can play a game here. You can ask your friends to explain what you are good at. If any one topic you have to choose for explaining, or if you one topic you have to, present a webinar or a seminar, then ask your friend what would they like to choose for you. Similarly, ask your parents that what are you good at and what they would like to listen from you. So this also helps you in giving a clear insight what is actually your strength, what exactly you are good at, and then you can also have a mutual discussion regarding the pros and cons involved in a particular profession. So that's all from me. I hope these 5 techniques will help you to understand the particular career which is involved or the streams that will help you to decide your profession in future. Over to Veda.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for all the tactics that you have talked about today. And I hope that it would be useful and parents would actually make use of what they've learned today. And to talk about further topics, further discussions, I would like Mr. Subramaniam to talk about it. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Veda. Thank you very much, ma'am. Talking about in detail how and what techniques that you can use in order to select a stream. Very good evening, everyone. I have met a lot of parents and students in last 2 months. The children who have completed their grade 10, most of these children and their parents are worried about what is the next step for their children. In order to address that, we wanted to conduct a special webinar. As part of this webinar, Divya ma'am very beautifully covered about few things which you can try doing in order to decide what stream that you might be interested in 11th and 12th. Now, let me talk about very quickly different type of career options that you might have. This list might not be the complete list, but it is only a tentative and some professions only we would gather here, but it would give you good guidance in order to decide for your stream. As you know, in the 11th and 12th, broadly you can categorize the streams into science, commerce, and arts. If you look at science stream, the kind of job opportunities that we have currently in the market, different type of professions. The first one is a data science. There is a lot of traction happening under this type of job profession. data mining, data analysis, business analysis, data research. So there is a lot of demand nowadays in analyzing the data, in storing the data, in viewing the data in certain manner. And you taking science group, you will be able to think of getting into this kind of job professions. And software development, this has been one of the very important and most sought after kind of profession in India. Medicine through NEET, and in case if children could not get medicine, there are alternate kind of professions like physiotherapy, nutritionist kind of jobs. Robotics, mechanical engineering is also booming a lot. Next 20 to 50 years, most likely, there are going to be a lot of robotics in every profession that we might have in the entire world. Engineering, and which is going to be very important one, considering India is a developing country. A lot of work is happening on this side. Environmental side, especially after pandemic, there has been a lot of demand for such kind of professional jobs. Manufacturing, still a lot of jobs are there, very good paying jobs. And game design developer, if you look at last 10 to 20 years, there have been a lot of job opportunities in this sector as well. Cyber security, again, with every kind of departments going on to online and technology coming in, security factor has taken very major role. There are a lot of job opportunities and high paying jobs in this area as well. And again, animation, design side, you'll find good number of job opportunities. This is about science. Now let me talk about various opportunities that we might have under commerce and arts. If you're looking at civil services, again, with science option also you can crack them, you can get into, and getting into CBI, FBI kind of jobs, clinical psychology, and organizational psychology. Again, a lot of demand that is coming up, especially with dealing with people and developing human resources, hospitality, event management. Law is one more very demanding job, which many students are looking at this also. And content writing, author, even at this era of ChatGPT and all that, content writing is one of the most sought after kind of job that we have. Fashion designing, interior designing, jewelry design, lot of high profile jobs, I would say. And digital marketing kind of profiles, there is a lot of demand in the market. Journalism, advertising. Let me continue. Next slide. Again, if you look at especially commerce kind of profiles, you have financial consulting and doing planning for organizations, even people, private equities, and chartered accountancy, company secretary. So as a lot of businesses are flourishing in India, growing, and businesses are growing in India, so commerce kind of stream has very, very, very good job opportunities in India. So those are all the different type of professions which I can say, you can think of while choosing your stream. So if you have a specific interest in any of this profession, so you might need to look at the right stream so that you can get into your dream profession. At Rockwoods, keeping all these professions in mind, we offer MPC, children who can get into IIT, NIT kind of colleges. And the second popular course that we have is BPC, if you're looking at medical kind of streams. And for commerce, also we have MEC and CEC with mathematics and without mathematics, with CA foundation, and some children opt for CLAT, SAT kind of coaching. And we also have NEET long-term and short-term. Especially NEET long-term is for the children who could not crack in their first attempt. If their wish is to become a doctor, Rockfoods is definitely going to be the best choice for you to prepare to give a best shot, at NEET. With BIPC also, we provide integrated NEET coaching. So with 2 years of BIPC course or an MPC course, I can assure you, your preparation for prestigious colleges like IITs, NITs, IIITs, or medical colleges is going to be very safe, secure, and guaranteed and assured at Rockfoods Junior College. Next slide, please, Shiva. We talked about how to choose your stream. We also talked about various professions that we have. Let me also talk about how children typically choose wrong stream, wrong career. What are the mistakes that children do? So we just wanted to talk about. So we request all the parents and children. So please, take a note of these, and please don't fall into these mistakes. The first one is follow the frog tendency, following the mob, following the group, just following the peer is not the way to choose a right stream in 11th and 12th. And parent and peer pressure. As a parent, please don't force your children to take a specific stream, and also children don't get pressurized by your peer and then take it. Just because your friend is taking MPC, you taking MPC would not make sense. And look at the one subject marks and then deciding your stream. As we have covered, look at what would give you happiness. Look at what kind of profession that you want, and then look at the marks. Just looking at marks and deciding the stream would not be the right approach. And then fancy ideas. If somebody comes and talks about let me try and experimenting, that is not the way to decide what stream that you take it up. And matter of prestige. There are some parents who come in and they talk about in our family we wanted to have so and so profession, we want our child to take up that profession. Don't do it like that. And then if there are certain professions who is highly paid, right, just looking at that and deciding the stream is not the way to do it, right? These are all the typical way how children do wrong choices. Please don't fall into that trap. Next one, please. Let me also talk about what would happen if a child is choosing a wrong stream, or without due consideration they are picking a stream. Typically, children feel very stressful in their 11th and 12th because they don't like that subject. They have taken because of their peer pressure. They have taken because of their parental pressure. So it would add a lot of stress and burden for children. And second thing is distractions. There is a saying, distractions versus direction. So if they are inversely proportional to each other, right? If you have more distractions, your direction is going to be very, very, very little. So the lesser the distraction, you are directed to your goal very smoothly and nicely. So distractions tend to become more if you don't do due consideration while choosing your stream. And typically children perform poor if they are picking up the wrong stream. There is a P to the power 5. Proper planning prevents poor planning. Do the proper planning upfront while choosing your stream. Job dissatisfaction typically will be there because they don't like those subjects. Career instability will be there. They tend to keep shifting one career to the another, and form a fear of missing out. In the group, they feel that one child, one friend, one neighbor, got it, but we could not be there. That option also children will think of, right? So looking at all these things, children, it is very important to choose a right stream in your 11th and 12th, make use of these strategies that we have mentioned. And we also talked about different careers that we have. And we also talked about how somebody chooses a wrong stream. Please don't do that. And what happens if you pick a wrong stream? I hope I answered, Veda, what you asked me. Back to
Yes,
you.
sir. Yes, sir. I think you've covered very good. I think at this point, I don't think any parents should have any doubt or ambiguity about, what to choose and how to choose. Next slide, please. Okay, sir, please.
You are waiting for me? I
Yes.
thought-
Yes, sir.
Okay.
First of all, thank you for coming.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Veda, Divya, and also Subhi for sharing great information which all the parents are waiting for. As we conclude today's webinar, Navigating the Career Path Beyond Grade 10th, the most important thing are academics. When the children are aspiring to achieve their aspirations and goals, the holistic well-being is also most important. The holistic well-being is the key, and they would be able to achieve their goals with complete focus on physical health, emotional health, and mental health. At Rockwoods, we encourage the children first to understand themselves the best, so that as a person, they know them, how they need to prepare themselves for next 2 years to achieve their goals and aspirations. As part of physical health, we encourage children to participate any of the physical activities every day, either yoga or running or any other activity which really they choose and enjoy at least one period in a day, so that they would be able to maintain their metabolism very high and still continue to focus on academics. In addition to the physical health, mental health is paramount in the success of the child. Hence, we encourage and ask the children to participate in mindfulness activities, something like Vipassana meditation and other mindfulness prayers. Every day, the children at Rockwoods will spend at least 15 minutes of time in these kind of activity, so that they would be able to develop mental strength and focus. Whatever the academic activity they are being participating, they would be able to achieve those without any difficulties. Once children are really good at their physical strength and mental strength, they also need to focus more about their sleeps. Since these are all stressful times, the children got habituated to do extra preparation before exams and our weekend exams or cycle tests. Instead of asking the children to stress themselves before exams, we recommend and encourage the children to maintain sleep cycles consistently for next 2 years, so that they get sound sleep. It's something like this. When you wanted to see that air is removed from water glass, that can only be done by filling the water. That means once you have a sound sleep, your mind will be able to fill with all the information, whatever you wanted to acquire or learn. Children and parents should be aware that minimum of 7 hours to 8 hours sleep is mandatory. For that, the parents or hostel in charge should create sleep routine, bedtime routine, and the precautions one should take before going for the bed, so that they get sound sleep. The next day will be very effective and efficient. In addition to these 3 strategies, the most important thing is diet. As you all know, we are what we eat. The nutritious food is paramount in the success of every human being. The food which has minerals, vitamins, and fresh vegetables, nuts, and lean protein would help the children to focus more, and their memory power also will be improved to a great extent, so that whatever they have been reading would be able to produce in exams. These 4-5 activities, if parents, teachers, and students give a little more importance, they would be able to encapsulate entire package of preparing for the civil services or competitive exams, and they are will really doing well in day-to-day learnings and classroom assessments or weekend exams. Hence, I encourage all of us having a regular exercise, sound sleep, practicing meditation, and having a healthy diet is the most important for the cognitive functions, and also enhancing your performance, improving your efficiency, and helping you to do the best in your daily activities or weekend exams. At Rockwoods, we have very focused persons on these activities, meditation activities. There are some very responsible persons are there who would be able to guide and counsel the students to focus on these kind of activities. I hope I conveyed how holistic well-being is very much important for the career success after grade 10th. Thank you,
Yes,
Veda.
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I think I would also want to say, while we were preparing this presentation, we had one thing in mind, that we have to cover all aspects for a student to understand what step they have to take next. That's the reason we covered all kind of topics. And it's a very ideal way to be living or thinking when it comes to taking big decisions as, you know, your streams. And I would also say that our school was also in the mind, because it does provide a very holistic way of growth and a holistic mentality going through. So I would suggest that all parents, if anyone have any doubts, please contact us. And I hope that today's webinar was fruitful, and I hope that every parent or student had a takeaway from this webinar. So yeah, that's all. And I'm thankful. Thank you for coming here, and we will be back with another interesting webinar. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Veda.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Divya ma'am. Thank you.